Well, it's about that time, people, that time of the year where I make a prediction on something and it will age very poorly. Like almost everything on this channel, it's about time to make another mock draft prediction since the draft is like going to be literally a day away whenever y'all are watching this. So, yeah, here it is. My first round mock draft for 2023. Hello guys, this is Sad Falcons, and yeah, here we are again, second year in a row, and we're about to release my official mock draft for the 2021 draft. 2021, what the hell? 2023. My brain's already destroyed before doing this. Now, just a warning, I am no professional, and again, may seem like I am absolutely talking out my asshole again, and some of these picks will make you questioning my entire sanity. But anyways, with those couple things out of the way, and also trades will be involved as well. So, yeah. Anyways, with that out of the way, time to get to the drafting. With the first pick in the NFL draft for 2023, Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama, of course. Because, yeah, Bryce Young's been the favorite to get drafted number one overall pretty much since last college season. Now, in my opinion, should he go number one overall? Honestly, I don't think so. But he probably will, no matter what. Just because he's obviously been the favorite. The Panthers probably not going to be making any calls. They're definitely going to just select him as their major single caller. And I feel like, though, the warning signs I got, though, from Bryce Young, that there could be issues with Bryce Young, even though there may not be, are the certain games last year and the injuries suffered last college season, and certain games also didn't go as well. But he did win the Heisman in, I believe, 2021. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what he can do, and we'll see if he will be able to revive the Panthers team, since it's obvious he's probably going to be going to run overall. The second pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Will Lewis, quarterback. Now, Will Lewis wasn't really a major favorite to be the number 2 pick. In fact, until today, I had them taking another player that you'll be hearing very soon. But the main reason why is, I guess, maybe because they don't trust enough Davis Mills. But really, I'm not 100% sure what the Texans' pick will be. But I feel like Will Lewis will be able to at least bring something on there. But he was not the quintessential favorite to be like one of the major quarterbacks picked, especially this early on until very recently. But the Texans, they really have not had any stability since rapist dude took over or was traded after 2020. I'm going to get canceled after saying that. But, yeah, the Texans, they've had Davis Mills quarterback, and he's had his inconsistencies. He's played well certain times. He's not played the best as well. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. With the third pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Will Anderson Jr., edge rusher. So, pretty much, I will say, Will Anderson Jr. is probably the number 1 prospect on my board. Well, I don't even know if I have a draft board, really, but he's like my number 1 prospect for the draft, and it's obvious. He's probably the best player out of the entire draft, and could potentially become like one of the number 1 dominators of quarterbacks in the league in like 5-10 years. And Cardinals, basically the strategy for Cardinals is if the first 2 picks are quarterback, they take best player off the board. But I could see Anderson, though, going also to the Texans. I wouldn't be shocked if he went to the Texans. But I feel like they'll probably pick quarterback over edge rusher. So that's how the Cardinals will land Will Anderson Jr. And I think it'll definitely help because essentially J.J. Watt, I think, is either going to be retired. I think is either retired or is like just like probably not going to be playing much longer. But yeah, Cardinals get Will Anderson Jr. with their pick. The fourth pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select C.J. Stroud, quarterback. Yeah, I think it was obvious. The Colts are definitely taking a quarterback in this year's draft because they have literally no real major quarterback. I think Stroud very well could fit very well in the Colts system. So there's a new coaching branch. It's pretty much almost an entirely new system in place at Indianapolis. And Stroud, in my opinion, is my favorite. He's in my opinion, the best quarterback prospect of this draft. He's my number 1 ranked quarterback coming into the draft. He's not going to be going number one because it's been obvious. And some of the things we've heard lately could potentially move him down a lot more in the draft. He could slide a lot worse than here, but I feel like there is so much potential upside. He's definitely going to be pretty fairly raw early on, but I think in about 5-10 years, he could be up there as one of the best quarterbacks in football. But yeah, he'll be going to the Indianapolis Colts, which is a much better situation than the Panthers and Texans, because I feel like he may have done that crap on purpose just so he didn't have to go to Texans and Panthers. Now, with the 5th pick, this is where things get interesting. The Seahawks really, they have needs, but none of them really match up with what major players on the board. They will be making a call to trade down for one of these quarterback teams. Needy teams, rather, because they don't want some of these other teams stealing them. So anyways, who gets it? Washington jumps up. I have them giving up 5 draft picks, including 2 first round picks, and I believe a second from the next year afterwards, along with 2 others. So Washington trades up from 16 to get quarterback Anthony Richardson. Now, from Florida, Richardson is definitely an interesting debate because he definitely could be outside the top 10. He could be, again, in the top 5, like I have here. It's going to be definitely interesting to see where Richardson goes through because there definitely are, again, some negatives and positives mixed in. He'll definitely be a fit with certain teams. Not every situation given Richardson is going to be a good one. He's going to have to, it'll be a team's going to probably have to find like a scheme fit or something like that for him. That's how I feel like Richardson's going to be. And the 2 teams I have going for the major ones would either be Washington or the Buccaneers. And I feel like at least Washington, because Jacoby Brissett is like their quarterback, and he's not, at least from what we've seen long term, he's like maybe a season or 2. And we've seen him as like a journeyman type of player. And he'll probably sit in there, be a starter for a good portion, try and mentor Richardson throughout the early part, but eventually Richardson will take over. The 6th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select wide receiver Jackson Smith and Jobby. I know I butchered that last part badly, okay? But yeah, the Lions, especially considering Jameson Williams literally just got like suspended for gambling crap, they're going to need another wide receiver. And honestly, it'll be another target to hopefully help out Jared Goff, because I think this will be a major proving season for Jared Goff. And I feel like this is going to be an important season for the Lions, whether or not they can make the playoffs or not, because this definitely, it's definitely going to be a telling sign whether or not Goff is the answer or not, or long-term answer. But yeah, they're still need some wide receiver space. They need like a lot of help in the offense, especially tight end, which, spoiler alert, they have another first round pick, and you might be able to guess who they could be taking later on. But as for now, wide receiver is going to be a bit hard to come by, and they're going to have to take Jackson Smith. He is one of my favorites. I don't know if I have him the top ranked prospect, but he's one of my favorites coming out of this draft, wide receiver wise. The 7th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders. Well, wow, that sounded so bad. Oakland Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders select tackle Peter Skoronski. I also feel like I butchered that badly. The Raiders need like a tackle. They definitely desperately need like help on, especially if they get right tackle, because Alex Leatherwood never panned out at all. And this is a left tackle who could actually be a good and not be a reach. Although I feel like they could reach very well in this pick. This is the Raiders we're talking about. But hopefully they won't. But yeah, they probably could potentially reach. But he's a great blocker. He's like the top tackle of the draft, of most people's draft board. And I could see him being the number 1 tackle being taken in the draft. But yeah, the Raiders desperately need some blocking. So that's how it's going to be. The 8th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, my Atlanta Falcons select running back Bijan Robinson. Yes, running back. It was either our biggest needs. Quarterback's kind of a need, but like it's not. I wouldn't say we need a quarterback per se because I like Taylor Heineke enough. that I think he could theoretically take the team at least to the playoffs. Because that's the goal, I think, this season, try and get the playoffs. So the division's still, at least, I'd say, wide open. And we have Cordero Patterson at running back, but he's not, again, going to be here for a long time. And he's a lot more of a return man. Can be a good running back, but I think if we can, like, split them both, that could help with the running back situation. We also could use some defensive help, but a lot of this team needs a lot of help. But, yeah, that's how I have it. Again, Robinson is single-handedly the best running back of the class, and it's really not even close. So, this guy could become, like, a tank and, like, just overall, like, be like a beast in like 5 years for the team. With the 9th pick in the NFL draft, the Chicago Bears select the CB. For the CB, Devon Witherspoon. Number 1 corner, many people say in the draft, and a guy that I do like a lot is Devon Witherspoon. Witherspoon is like, has been great. And there'll definitely be, again, questions, but the Bears desperately need cornerback. That's like the number one thing, or that's like one of the big things they need is help there. And I think it's just match made have that they take CB for the CB, and Witherspoon definitely could evolve in a top tier corner in a couple of years. We'll see where he is during that time. Now with the 10th pick, the Philadelphia Eagles are not the best fans of seeing who's on the board, so they decide to trade down and get calls to trade down. The team that decides to trade up, the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, with the 10th pick, select Dalton Kincaid. I'm hoping that's how it's spelled, but I probably butchered that as well. Tight end. So, yeah, they need, like, tight end fairly bad. And considering that you're going to need to help Jordan Love, not only with blocking, but surround him with as many weapons as possible. They definitely need to grab another receiver, but there isn't like a major, like high receiver until like down closer toward like the 20s range. So they're either going to trade up or trade down. That's going to be what the Packers, I feel like, do, because they definitely will need a lot more help on the receiving. They really need help on a lot of the catching route. And you're definitely going to need as many weapons as possible for Jordan Love, because even though he sat behind Aaron Rodgers so long, it's still going to have some growing pains, like being the official full-time starter for the season. So, yeah, that's what it's going to be. With the 11th pick in the draft, the Tennessee Titans, I'm a big fan, again, not exactly sure, but they trade down to who else? But the New England Patriots, everybody's freaking enemy, trade up for 11th, and they pick defensive lineman, or interior defensive lineman, Jalen Carter. Yep, Jalen Carter. You notice I haven't mentioned him yet, but yeah. Jalen Carter's done some very questionable things off the field, and I feel like there could be a potential that we could see a slide. Carter has been one of the best, like number one. He's in like a top prospect and could have actually got number one. But he had some issues and had some stuff happen off the field I'm not going to get into. And it's for this reason very well that Chicago might have actually traded down where Carolina gave them, because Carter got involved in the problems. So now the number one team I feel like could easily fix him up and turn him into like an all-pro, like all-time, like just defensive lineman would be the Pats, because Belichick's had a entire like lifetime of doing this, just taking players who like have had issues or like are not being named players or just really unknowns and just turning them into like absolute legends. That's just been all the Pats do, and I thought this would be such a Pats move. So yeah. I could see for Jalen Carter either him being a top 5 pick or he could fall all the way outside the top 20. One of those two could probably happen, but I have him here at 11. With the 12th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Nolan Smith, defensive end lineman, I believe, or end, I'm not sure. But yeah, they need some help on the interior defensive line, because they really haven't really been able to replace the defense. The Texans haven't been able to replace the defensive line really well at all with that. And I think Smith could definitely be a great player. Now, there are definitely getting questions about it. This is a lot more of team fits because, again, I barely did not do a great job watching film this year, to be real. But yeah, Smith is like another major top, and honestly, I could see Smith going though before Carter as like a top, like the top defensive lineman or tier defensive lineman, but not here. But very well could. Smith's definitely a player I like, and he could definitely help the Texans out, improve the Texans. With the 13th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select tackle Paris Johnson Jr. As soon as Aaron Rodgers arrives in New York, they give him some offensive line and blocking help because you better protect him because this is a guy who's starting to get old, at least Rodgers. But yeah, Paris Johnson has definitely proven himself to be a very good offensive lineman and a great offensive tackle. And considering that the Jets, again, have always needed a good portion of offensive line help, Johnson Jr. is a player that could definitely help them out and protect Aaron Rodgers, per se, from hopefully against that, considering that there's a lot of definitely top-tier defensive players in the AFC East. So we could see definitely the Jets taking offensive lineman of some sort, specifically tackle. The 14th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select, after they trade down from 11, Christian Gonzalez. Now, corner is kind of a bit of a major need for the Titans and today because you're going to definitely need a lot like help there. And considering the quarterbacks that you could potentially have in the division, a young Will Lewis, you have Ryan Tannehill, which now it's going to be interesting and, just kind of interesting. But then majorly, though, Trevor Lawrence. That's going to be one you're going to try. And I feel like they need to try and stop Trevor Lawrence and really the entire Jaguars team. And this is a way they could at least hopefully be able to help it. Because the Titans had a rough season last year. And all around, it was a bit rough. So this hopefully could be a way that could improve. With the 15th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles, who trade down from 10 to 15, select defensive lineman Kalia Cansey. Again, I hope the guy said that right, but I probably butchered that royally. But yeah, the Eagles need like a lot of defensive line help. Like a lot of their guys are getting up there in age. Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox are both in their early to high to mid 30s, and they're not going to be there for long. So you definitely need to figure out a plan to replace them. This is a team that came very close to win the Super Bowl. And really, like the defense definitely wasn't really helping a whole lot. And I feel like you have to get to the quarterback. A lot of the guys are starting to get there in age, and I feel like these could be good replacements. And again, the Eagles, they getting more draft picks, so they could probably get a potentially build a squad that could actually go to the Super Bowl. And this is where it could start, like a big push, a potential Super Bowl push. Get that defense going, and Cansey definitely could be a disruptive lineman. And now that we're halfway through the draft, it's that time.
$5 your way, I rule this day. Nuggets, fries, drink bars just been raised. And Whopper Jr. is something new. A barbecue bacon Jr. just for you. BK, have it your way.
All right, sorry about that. I just had to do it. But yeah, it's like literally enveloped my freaking brain. Anyways, with 16th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Seahawks, who traded down from 5th, select edge rusher Myles Murphy. Again, the Seahawks shocked a lot of people in making the playoffs this season. And they got a great deal from the Broncos considering the amount of picks that they've got. And now they could actually build a team that could compete even more with the other divisions for their actual division for a potential shot at the Super Bowl. And getting some help on the defense will definitely be a help because the division obviously is Kyler, whoever's going to be starting for the 49ers, whether it's Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, or Trey Lance. And if Matthew Stafford can get back in contention as well. So, again, getting to the quarterback will be important. And Miles Murphy definitely has been able to do that throughout. Anyways, with the 17th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Dante Banks, cornerback. So, let's see how the Yinzer... So, any Yinzer fans, how will y'all react to this? Because, my God, this could be an interesting pick. But yeah, the Steelers have got some corners, and some of the corners are starting to age up there, and they definitely need some more help with the cornerback situation. Just because, like, they definitely allowed a good portion of touchdowns, and considering y'all are in the same division as... and have to deal with Jamar Chase twice a year, I think I'll probably get sick and tired of that very fast. And this is a guy who could potentially, if he can improve very well, he could probably shut down Jamar Smith. Then again, this is coming from a guy who's not even close to an expert. So, yeah. Please don't get mad if this doesn't work out. And that's where I get these picks. But, yeah. Dante Banks to the Steelers. The 18th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Michael Mayer, tight end. So this is your TJ Hawkinson replacement. Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer is, because they traded away TJ Hawkinson late in the season, they get a replacement here. Because they're definitely going to be picking a tight end with one of these picks. And I think very well Mayer could end up being a great level tight end. Yeah, great. And this is a team that's become very close. And really, it's another weapon for Jared Goff potentially to throw the ball to. Or as a blocker as well. Like both of them could help. We'll have to see what happens, though, in the situation. Considering this is Detroit. Pray to God they don't screw up their draft. Luckily, this isn't during another dark era. The 19th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Brian Branch, safety. So, secondary was like a major issue for the Bucs. It has been an issue for the Bucs for the last few years. And get a young guy like this, and it'll probably be able to help it be infinitely better. Secondary has been like a major need. Another need you may notice as well is quarterback. And I had them as one of the two major teams trying to trade up to try and get a quarterback. Now, will that actually happen? We're not sure. But if it doesn't, they'll probably take like a safety because they definitely need some help in the secondary. And really defensively, because this is a team that's on its last legs. And they're trying to salvage as much as they can of a roster and make any type of last run. Or before they'll have to rebuild very fast. Now, the 20th pick is traded. The Seahawks trade down again. Get an even more disgusting amount of draft picks with the Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens select safety Joey Porter Jr. Yep. They take away a guy whose father was formerly a Steeler before he got let go to Miami. And now this is how the revenge game will start. They'll terrorize him, or they'll terrorize the Steelers twice a year. Because Joey Porter is my favorite safety coming out of the draft. And I think he could very well go higher than 20th. It's just very few teams are safety needy right now. And the Ravens are one of those. And considering, again, that they're just trying to get any last thing out, because this could be the last year they have Lamar under contract. They're trying to get any type of help to the team, try and make a run at the Super Bowl, if they even can get it working. And this is how it could work. With the 21st pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select wide receiver Jordan Addison. Now, if I'm correct, I could be wrong. Probably am. Mike Williams, I think, has left Los Angeles. Again, I could be wrong. But, there's definitely they definitely need to add a little bit more help and some stuff to help Justin Herbert grow. Because this is a team that's, been one of the best, and on paper, one of the best teams in the league. And they've not been able to get over the hump. Because in 2021, they failed to make the playoffs altogether after it looked set that they were one of the best teams. They absolutely threw a game away against the Texans and lost in the game against the Raiders. And in 2022, they made the playoffs and then blew a 27-0 lead, which was one of the largest leads in playoff history, and got memed all around for it. So now you need to get any type of help and definitely not, hopefully, screw up on the flags. And Jordan Addison can definitely be a wide receiver to give some help out, to say the least. Now, because the Seahawks trade down the 22nd pick, they get the 22nd pick. And with the 22nd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Seahawks select Broderick Jones, tackle. So obviously you're in need to build up this team for a potential Super Bowl. And it's exactly how you do it, because you get some offensive line help and you get some protection for Geno Smith, because apparently this is Geno's team now out of nowhere. He's taken over. Geno Smith is another main quarterback. And this is the Seahawks definitely are in position to potentially build a Super Bowl squad. And not even a year ago, we didn't even realize that. But now they're in perfect position to potentially be the ones to be in Super Bowl contention. And this is where it could start, because Broderick Jones has been a definite blocker and solid wall for a long time, considering that's on the champion Georgia Bulldogs. Now, the Jaguars and Vikings switch picks. The Jaguars trade the 23rd pick and the Vikings get the 24th pick. Because the Vikings want to trade down, but they don't want to trade down seriously because they're worried that the Giants could steal a player they're looking at. So Jaguars trade up with the 24th pick or the 23rd pick rather in the draft. They select Darnell Wright, back-to-back tackles. Yep, back-to-back tackles. And definitely could say, again, the Jaguars, you want to bolster up the offensive line and make sure Trevor Lawrence will never have to worry about getting sacked again. And this is how. Because he is absolutely, definitely, again, another great tackle. There are a lot of great tackles in the draft, and he is definitely another very good one. It'll take a little bit of time probably to get into the offense and stuff like that, but if he can fit him there and get him more there, he'll be there potentially for the next 10 years. And he could definitely protect Trevor Lawrence back throughout the entire time. Now here's the one that's going to make everyone question whether or not I'm even legit at what I'm doing while doing this video. With the 24th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select wide receiver Jalin Hyatt. What the? Yes, Jalin Hyatt. Now, some people have him as a second-round grade or a late first-rounder. And again, it's kind of toward the late first-round. I'm going to say Jalin Hyatt's been my favorite receiver out of this draft. And I am actually my number one receiver. Again, from what I've seen, right now, he's definitely pretty raw. And may have definite a little bit issues certain times with catching, but he has made incredible speed. He may have a little undersized as well, but he could very well be a great speedster and could definitely be a great returnman early in his career. And that's exactly how basically the Vikings need, because the Vikings, other than Justin Jefferson, really don't have really any other great receivers on that team. And if you plug in Jalin Hyatt, him and Justin Jefferson, you have one of the best tandems in the NFL 2-3 years from now. That could definitely be a tandem that would be great. Now, the 25th pick in the NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Quentin Johnston, wide receiver. And back-to-back wide receivers now. Johnston's another wide receiver who say the Giants definitely have a lot of wide receivers, but not many of them have worked out per se. And you definitely need to just give Daniel Jones a target, because this is the best and highest chance this Giants team will have of potentially going to the Super Bowl. Considering that Jones is on a 3-year deal, but Saquon is on is like tagged. So hoping that they could like get a contract done potentially soon. But the Giants definitely could score big here if they can nail this pick, which I feel like they could with Johnston. Yeah, they could become definite contender for a while, and could definitely help them elevate them even higher. And I know there's definitely some Giants fans who'd love that. Now, the 26th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select cornerback Emmanuel Forbes. Now, I know it's not their number one position of need, but I can tell you right now, Cowboys fans would love this pick because I know, they already have two cornerbacks, Stephon Gilmore and Trevon Diggs. You had Stephon Gilmore and Trevon Diggs, or you have Trevon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore, and you add in Emmanuel Forbes, you have a secondary that will be turnover machines because Stephon Gilmore has been one of the best corners. He's had a bit of a drop down in the last few years, but Dallas could be a perfect spot to revive his career. Trevon Diggs has proven he's got better at being shut down, at least being able to stop, like break up passes and not give up as many yards. And he's proven in 2021 to be a turnover machine. If he can get to that elite play consistently both ways, become a turnover machine, consistently not allow as many yards, as well as add on Emmanuel Forbes, this Dallas defense could probably literally carry the entire team to the playoffs. I'm not even kidding, because Cowboys were very close, and I think this definitely could be an opportunity they could seize to get themselves up to the next step. Then again, this is the Cowboys, so they probably will fail completely on this later on down the season. But yeah, Emmanuel Forbes, corner. Now, the 27th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, New Orleans Saints, who trade up from 29th. The Bills trade down. They trade up. The Saints trade up 27th. They select guard, the first guard off of the board, O'Cyrus Torrence. Osiris! Oh, that's a horrific joke. But yeah, the Saints definitely need some help. And I think Andreas Pete, you have Andreas Pete as your guard, your starting guard. And this guy could probably take over for Pete, like, very fast. He's like the number one guard in the draft. And again, Torrance can definitely like be nice help considering now you have Derek Carr, and really you see an opportunity to potentially try and be the number one team in the NFC South, which is probably the number one division, which will be probably the easiest division in all of the league, at least like the lowest in like actual how good teams are. And this could help the Saints propel them to a potential Super Bowl in their own stadium. With the 28th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals trade out of the first round with the Chicago Bears. And the Bears trade back up into the first round to select tackle Anton Harrison. Harrison is definitely an interesting framework and definitely interesting overall type of player, at least in how like everything works, and the Bears definitely need some offensive line help, especially at tackle to protect Justin Fields, just so like he doesn't get killed out there, because that's been an issue his first 2 years in the league, has been the offensive line help. And I think the Bears definitely will take this, and this will definitely instantly give Fields a little bit more breathing room and not be so much of hectic as it would be, say, going on around, because they tackle instantly can make it better. And Harrison definitely is great at what he does. Now, it's the 29th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. Our last trade, or at least team that involved a trade down from 27th, the Bills select tackle Dawand Jones. Dawand. Okay, I'm going to stop with actually, never mind. I can't stop with what's coming up. Anyways, the Bills have been very close. They've been very close to getting it. Like, this is a team that should already theoretically have been in the Super Bowl. But now, though, you can bring in a guy who can help protect Josh Allen and get the ball out to Stephon Diggs and Dawson Knox and those guys, Daryl Singletary, and if they can nail this pick with a guy like Darwin Jones, who's been a great tackle and blocker, the Bills could definitely be a potential Super Bowl contender with this pick. And Jones is definitely one of my top tackles I have for the draft, although he's going here. Now, with the 30th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Tyree Williams, edge rusher. Remember what I said earlier about the Eagles needs Mullen defense? Yeah, this is that other one. Because you need to replace, like, again, the guys I mentioned, Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. They're getting up there in their early to high 30s. And this is how I think this will be the Brandon Graham type of replacement, because Graham is 34. Replace him with some fresh blood, Tyree Williams. It may take him a little bit to get in. You'll probably rotate him around just a little bit, get him anywhere. But eventually he will develop into a edge rusher. Could be easily as good, maybe better than Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham has been a great edge rusher. And I think William could very well eventually be even better than Brandon Graham. Now, the last pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, because the Dolphins ended up for anybody wondering why it's only 31 picks, the Dolphins ended up getting penalized, and they lost the first round pick for this, or they forfeited it. So the 31st pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Will McDonald Jr., edge rusher. Will McDonald had them sacked. Actually, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to make that mistake, people. But Will McDonald as one of the top 10 greatest last names to ever compete in the NFL, at least just by virtue of his name, will already make him a legend. Add to the Chiefs, where you could probably bolster him up with Chris Jones, and you have a sack running team, a team that will probably get sacked. So it's Will McDonald, along with having a great last name, also has definitely been one of the best. He's definitely a great edge rusher, and I definitely see him as a late first rounder, but he is a dark horse, and I think definitely he will prove to be one of the best edge rushers in the NFL in about 7 years or so. But yeah. That being said, that's the first round. I made it through it. I survived it. My voice box is about dead from that. But I made it through. Hope you guys enjoyed. This has been the Seth Falcons. And I'll see you guys on draft night.